Good afternoon, everyone. This is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. Welcome to my afternoon tea time and a card. This is episode number 13. I can't believe I'm up to 13 already. It seems like I just started these not too long ago. So I've got my tea already, but I'm going to actually push it aside just so I don't spill it. For those of you that are here, that means you belong to the Stampin' Ink Designs group page. And I'm so glad you belong to my page. Just a little note that I started a random act of kindness birthday club on our page. A lot of you guys have signed up. And what that means is once you sign up with your birthday, people will be sending you cards as a random act of kindness. And then you can send cards out too. I've seen a few people so far that have received cards for the month of September that posted pictures, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, so for today, I can see everybody coming on. Hello, everyone. So for today, I'm going to be using the free skate stamp set to create 2 cards with you, along with the detailed skate dies. As you can see, it's a set of 6, and I have 3 that I'm going to be using today. If you look in the catalog, there's some really pretty samples here, and you can see that they use the skate here as a stamped and die cut image, and then here is the little fancy die cut. So there's several ways to use the skate, and I'm going to show you 2 of them today. So my first card, I'm going to bring in all the supplies I'm using, then I'll show you the card. For my ink colors, I'm using Balmy Blue, Night of Navy, and Real Red. I'm using the red rhinestone jewels. I've got a red bow that I made using the Real Red, I can't remember what this ribbon's called, the cotton ribbon. It's really nice ribbon. And then for the card base, I have thick Whisper White, 11 inches by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. I'm going to go ahead and use my bone folder. Then I have a piece of regular Whisper White, not the thick, and this is 5 1/4 by 4. And I'm also using the rectangle dies today. Now I'm using 2 for this card, and then I'm going to show you a little trick on card number 2. So this one measures 4 7/8 by 3 1/2, and then the smaller rectangle measures 2 7/8 by 1 5/8. I know a lot of you guys cringe when you hear those fractions. Now let me see, I've got my die cuts cut out ahead of time to save time. I'm also using a sponge with the Balmy Blue. So I've gone ahead and cut out with Night of Navy, the detailed skate. I've got just a scrap of the silver. And the reason I did that is because I'm actually going to just use the blade. So I'm just going to cut that off. So that's what's nice about this skates dies. You can build your skates the way you want. And then I have the bold one that has no detail to it. So we're going to use all 3 of these pieces. And this is the card I'm going to be creating with you. So this is resembles the eclipse cards because we're going to pop this layer, as you can see, with Stamping Dimensionals. I'm going to show you how to do that today. So the first thing we're going to do is bring in the Balmy Blue. And I'm going to sponge, let me bring the card in. I'm going to sponge diagonally this corner and this corner. I'm starting out right in the corner and working my way in so it becomes lighter. And now I'm going to switch over to this corner. And I will be picking a name at probably tomorrow. You guys know what you need to do with my video. I'm not allowed to ask you. You know what you need to do. Okay, now I'm going to do the snowflake image using the Night of Navy. And I'm just going to fill in this little corner right here. Same with this one. It's kind of neat because you can see where the snowflakes stick out here, and then there's a little indentation, and they kind of fit together. Okay, so that's all I'm gonna do for that. Let me move my ink pads. Now I have to bring in the Big Shot. I'm going to go ahead and open up my card. So the first step, I'm going to cut out evenly, and let me get me some washi tape. I'm going to use a piece of washi tape just to hold this down. And it's just going to be a little tiny piece. I don't want to take a chance of ripping my cardstock. Okay, so there's step number 1. So you see now we have an open area. I'm going to set this aside. Bring this one back in. And now I'm going to bring in the rectangle, the smaller one. And I'm going to put that about 3/4 of an inch from the top. Okay, so that's all the cutting we're going to need. Let me bring the card back in. I want to be careful not to rip my cardstock. So now we have 3 pieces. And what I'm going to do first is actually bring in the real red. And I'm going to stamp the sentiment on this one. Okay, there's my sentiment. Now we're going to build the card. So remember that I folded this on the score line, but I'm actually going to bring that in and flip it over. And what I'm going to do, because I don't want to make a mess with the snail, I'm going to go just right on the edge, a little bit of liquid glue around all 4 sides. And this is cut a little smaller. That's why I didn't want to use the snail. So now we're back to having a white background. And now comes the fun. We're going to add stamping dimensionals. And we're going to glue this back where it belongs. So again, this is like a large version of an eclipse card. Hello everyone, I can see everybody jumping on. It's so nice to see you on an afternoon. Okay, so this is going to go right back where it belongs. So that's where the eclipse part is coming in. Now I'm going to add liquid glue to the hole. And I'm going to put this back inside, but it's going to be flat on the inside. Make sure it's nice and straight. I'm also going to bring my paper piercer just to make sure that everything's nice and straight. Now we got to build our little skate. Now you'll notice I put white on the background on this one. I didn't feel like it stood out a lot, so I opted for balmy blue this time, and we'll see what a difference that makes. Now let me bring in a scrap piece of paper. I'm going to add a drop of liquid glue, and I have my little sponge that I keep in a container. And I'm just gonna dab some glue. This just makes it so easy. And that's going to fit right over the balmy blue skate. And then we can add the silver part. See how easy that was? And look how pretty that is. It's gorgeous. So now I'm going to add dimensionals to my skate. This is the first time I used this set too. I had not dug it out yet. I have a lot of sets I haven't used yet. Now we're going to stick this. See, I like the balmy blue better. I think it stands out a lot better. Now I have a couple little holes here that didn't come out. So let me just fix that. What do you guys think? Do you think the balmy blue is better than the white? I think it is. Okay, now I'm going to add a glue dot to my bow. And you know me, I also add liquid glue. I'm going to put the bow right on the skate. Now, when I started this card, it was all blue. I did not have any red. And I just thought it needed a pop of color. And that's where that third color really makes a difference. Okay, I'm going to add a few rhinestone jewels. I don't have as many snowflakes showing on this one. So what I'm doing is I'm just picking some of the little dots and adding the jewels right over them. And let's see, I need one more on the bottom. It's just not enough there. Okay, so there's card number 1. How quick was that? And then you can let me know. It looks like you guys like the balmy blue one better too. It just stands out a little bit more. So now let me go ahead and get set up for card number 2. And we're going to be doing some sponging again. So this time I have Flirty Flamingo, Crumb Cake, Memento Black, our new Delicata Golden Glitz, and Versamark. Now to save a little bit of time, I need to show you the card because you'll understand. So this one is a really pretty card. I do love the color combination that I came up with on this one. So look at this. Isn't that pretty? I love the background. So what I did is I actually grabbed the catalog for inspiration. You'll see here that they did the same thing in the background, but they used the Night of Navy and probably Mint Macaron. But I wanted to change up the colors. So this is where I added the Flirty Flamingo and the Crumb Cake. And what I did ahead of time is I used my white embossing powder. I used the embossing buddy, I rubbed it across, and then you can see that I've already done my snowflakes. I've already heat embossed them just to save a little bit of time. So now we're going to do some sponging. And this is a little bit of magic if you've never done the emboss resist technique. You're going to see the snowflakes are going to pop. See how quickly they pop? So this is the Flirty Flamingo. And I'm going to go down about 2/3 of the cardstock piece. And I am adding a lot of ink this time because I want it nice and dark. Okay, so how pretty is that? Next, Crumb Cake. I'm going to do the same thing. And look how pretty. Now, when I get close to where the two colors meet, I'm not going to add any more ink because I actually want to overlap and then meld them together. There we go. So there's my nice background. Now let's go ahead, and I've already gone ahead and done one of the skates and one of the hollies. These are my blends markers. So I am going to have to cut one more skate and one holly berry. And I'm using the Memento Black on this one. And I am using the blends markers. So there's my skate. And then we need one holly berry. Now the little tip that I'm going to be showing you today, only because someone on this page, and I should have written down who requested this, they wanted to know how to create this banner using the rectangle stitch dies, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Now let's bring in some of the blends markers. I've got Crumb Cake Light and Dark, Granny Apple Light and Dark. This one is Flirty Flamingo Light and Dark, and then the Dark Basic Black. So I'm going to start out with the black. I'm just going to cover the bottom of the skate where the sole of the foot is. That's it for the black. And then let's do the Granny Apple Green for the holly. I'm just going to add the dark in the center and then color and blend with the lighter one, the lighter Granny Apple. Same thing with Flirty Flamingo. All I'm going to do is add a little bit of dark on the bottom of my berries and then blend with the lighter shade. And now comes the big part. So this is the dark Crumb Cake. I'm just going to add where I think the shadow is going to hit. I'm just going to do a little bit at a time. Can you see the line there? You need to blend that together so that it disappears. Same over here. You just keep scrubbing where they meet and then that'll blend together so nicely. Okay, now I need to add some more dark. So I'm going to add dark right here. And again, I'm trying to blend where they meet. I call it scrubbing. It's just like you're scrubbing. And then we'll add one more time with the dark. Scrub, scrub, scrub. See how that line disappears? Okay, now we just need to do in between the shoelace. Now I wanted to do gold on my shoelace. So what I did is I dug out a blender pen. I'm actually going to use the ink pad to color with it. Let's see, I've got a tip here that I've already used right here. So I'm just going to actually dip in the ink pad, pounce it on, and then spread it. And look how rich that looks. I don't have the silver one yet, and of course these are on back order until the end of the month. I think you can still order them, so get your name on the back order list. Okay, look how pretty that is in gold. I love that look. I'm going to do the same thing with the shoelace. I'm just going to pounce the gold on there. This is going to be one of those elegant skates. 14 karat gold shoelaces and blade. Okay, and then I usually just wipe this off until it's nice and clear. So now I'm going to go ahead and bring the big shot in. Oh, actually, let me go ahead and stamp the sentiment that I need so that I can show you the little trick on how I did that. And that's going to be with Crumb Cake ink. Let me see if I can bring my card back in so you can see it. So that's just going to go on a scrap piece of Whisper White. And now I just need to move everything over. I'm going to need the skate and the holly die and the little rectangle. Now this rectangle is the smaller one that measures 3 inches by 1 inch. So let me go ahead and bring the big shot in. So let's go ahead and do the sentiment first so I can show you the little trick. So I'm going to cut it as a rectangle first. And some of you guys may have tried this already. I'm actually going to use the same die and position it like so. And what I want to do is to actually see the corners inside my die so that I know that they will be cut off. So I'm going to put that right there. And you'll see how it continues on with the stitching. I've just created a new stitch die. Okay, now let's go ahead and do the skate and the holly. And I'm actually going to do one at a time just so I don't mess it up. And sorry my camera wiggles when I do the big shot. It wiggles the whole camera that I'm using. Okay, now one more. This is the little holly. And now we can go ahead and assemble the card. So these are all the pieces. Now when you do the skate, you do have to pop out the little pieces between the shoe part and the blade. So we've got 2 skates, 2 holly berries. And again, I'm using Whisper White thick cardstock for my card base, 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5.5. Now I did have somebody ask me about the thick Whisper White not too long ago. I love using these for my bases only because they don't warp. They just stand really nice. They're thick, and I love how it works as a card base. Now, where's my snail? I gotta find my snail. I threw it somewhere. You know what? I can't find it. Okay, so we'll go to the liquid glue. This is basic black 4 by 5 1/4. It's here somewhere in my pile of stuff. Okay, so there's the basic black. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the embossed layer. Isn't it neat how this started out as a white piece of cardstock and look how it ended up? Okay, next we're going to glue one of the skates down flat. Right about there. And then the other one, let me move that over just a tad. The other one is going to be glued down with dimensionals. Oh, Karen, were you the one that asked me about the die tip? I can't remember who asked me to show it. Was it you? I hope it was. And I hope you're impressed. Okay, there's skate number 2. Here's my sentiment. I'm going to put that right above and even with the left side. And then all we have left to do is add the little holly leaves. So what I'm going to do is actually tuck one under. And then this one's going to go on top. There we go. So there's card number 2. So let me bring the other one back in. And like I said, I'll be picking a name tomorrow. And there's my eclipse. So you got an eclipse card, and then this one is sponged, and then the little altered rectangle for you. So this is a great set to own. If you don't own it, I would highly recommend it. Free Skate is the name of the stamp set. And if you need help ordering, just let me know. Thanks so much for joining me. Oh, and tomorrow, just an announcement on my business page. I have a doctor's appointment on Friday, so I had to reschedule my Friday folds. So it's actually going to be Friday folds on Thursday, tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Thanks so much for visiting with me and stamping with me today. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.